Welcome to Reading the Green, our golf and fantasy sports show. My name is Mike. As usual, Kyle and Jordan here. And special guest, Ari Hertz, TPC Southwind member, going to be with us all the way to help us preview the Fedex St Jude Championship this week. Thank you, Ari, for being here.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, you were here last year, and just pre-pod, just chatting. I hope you bring some fire. Jordan's been a little quiet on like the jokes lately, so we gotta do something to shake it up.
I've been drinking tonight, so
that just makes him the joke. So we'll have a good time then. So.
All right. Well, it's Tuesday, August 8th. We're gonna do the Wyndham Championship recap. We'll talk about the FedEx St Jude Championship coming up. And since it's Tuesday, and since no one has figured out a way to win Mega Millions, we're all holding Mega Millions tickets for, is it still $1.5 billion? That's right. It's higher. Is it up?
A lot of money. I don't even know.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
1.6. Yeah.
Oh God. But taxes and cash, and I got to split it with you Yahoos. Like, it's only going to be like a $200 million. Like, this ain't going very far.
Goes far enough for me to give up working and golf all the time.
Well, that being said,
the good news
Jordan,
is, Michael, I'm here to take whatever you don't need, so it'll be perfect.
All right. Well, I'll find something to do with it, such as Kyle. We've been kicking around this idea of the greens golf and sports betting experience. I think a little bit of money could go to that.
I think we need to workshop it out a little bit since we're about an hour and 20 minutes away from winning. We should probably just figure this out right now.
Side note. So we had block party, last Tuesday, and I was talking about Mega Millions, and neighbors start texting me like, "Oh, can't wait to see you on the news, grabbing your check and all that." Cause I was trying to get them to go play. And I said, "Are you kidding me? We're forming a trust, and that ticket is going in the trust, and you're never going to know it's me."
Yeah.
And they're like, "You thought about this?" I'm like, "Of course."
The state of Minnesota is an anonymous state, right. So you don't even have to come. No one would ever know, even if you want it.
No.
And went in.
The Tennessee, not an anonymous state. So I've already started to think about what that's going to mean for my profile and how I'm going to have to kind of adjust my lifestyle a little bit.
No, man, just form a trust, put the ticket in the trust, and have the trust claim it. You ride off into the sunset.
So when the greens opens up in Northwest Iowa, that's how you guys will know we won.
Yes.
So Kyle, what do you think in the greens is? Because I feel like we're not on the same page.
Well, this is why we're working through it, right? So yeah, it's an entertainment complex, sports betting. Obviously, we're gonna have an on-site book. I feel like we need a couple courses, right? We each get to design one.
Oh. And so you feel like Northwest Iowa is the spot because it's a legal betting state, and it's like if you build it, they will come.
Exactly. I mean, we can incorporate corn into it. Come on.
No, here I thought we were gonna open up a marijuana store.
Ooh. Well, I mean, we could do that too. But that's not going to get legalized in Iowa anytime soon. But
honestly, when you first started describing it, I thought you were just describing a casino. So I guess you can piece all three of those together, and you might have something. Yeah. I
kind of imagined like a Tiger Woods pro putt, sort of mini golf short course with casino attached, but. I don't know. I guess not being in a legal betting state, I don't get exposure to enough of these gimmicks. So I feel like we might need to go do some research.
A place where we could do some great research.
Las Vegas.
Well, I was trying to segue for you there. Where is a destination golf environment?
well, no, I got you, Kyle, and that's what I was going to say. When we got to hire a developer and architects to do the greens courses, now that you're opening these championship golf courses, obviously we go Kaiser and Coore and Crenshaw and all those guys. So we got a guy here, Ari, who's on his way to Bandon in the morning. And so, Ari, what do you got? What's this trip looking like? Because I just talked to my neighbor who just got done, no joke, 4-day trip, 8 rounds of golf at Bandon. Yeah. He was like, that was about 3 too many. So what do you got in store for this week?
Yeah, so this is our 3rd year doing it with this group. This year we're up to 8 though instead of 4, and so we'll fly out tomorrow, assuming we get on the second flight correctly, which we're all on, by the way. So it's a pretty high risk, high leverage thing if that flight gets screwed up, but or at least 7 of the 8 of us are on it. But we're gonna play 18 tomorrow, we'll play Sheep Ranch. And then Thursday, we'll play 36. So we'll do Dunes and Old McDonald. Friday, we'll do 36. We'll do Bandon Trails, and I guess maybe Sheep again. And then Saturday morning, we'll do another 18. I left one out here. What did I leave out?
Well,
Dunes,
you left out Pacific.
Oh, Pack Dunes. Yeah, Pack Dunes. And then Saturday afternoon, we'll do the par 3 course. And then we'll go to the Punch Bowl, and we usually have some alcohol-related, putting games going on, and kill the afternoon with some cigars and some beverages. And that's pretty much it. Half the group's going to be able to play again Sunday morning. A group of us is driving up to Eugene to fly out. So depending on who you are, you've got 6 18-hole rounds, the short course, and then some people are playing one more on Sunday. So it's usually a good time. It's my massage gun will have its charger and always be ready. I got to go home, rub myself down between rounds, eat some lunch, get back out there. But it's usually a good time, and we've been very lucky with the weather this time of year each time, and so this week looks good as well. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, Ari doesn't mess around with his golf trips. I mean, I joined you for half of the trip last year, and we played 5 rounds in 3 days. And you
that
already
one had like 4 hours of driving too. This has no driving once you're there. So
Are all the guys on this trip, are they conditioned to do this? Because I've been on trips where they're not, and after day 1, they're like, "What did I get myself into?"
Yeah, I'm hoping it's my competitive advantage actually. So like I've had the luxury this year of playing a lot of golf, and talking about Southwind, I walk, and I've got one of those electric push carts with a remote. And so it's sort of like playing with a caddy. And so I'm hoping that my golf fitness, which as like a fat guy doesn't really mean much, but at least like I swing a lot, helps me above them. But yeah, some of these guys have played like 3 rounds of golf in 5 months. And so I think it could be interesting. And half of them are Bandon virgins. The other half has been there before. And so that'll also be kind of interesting because they're not really sure what they're getting into with the walking 36 type of thing, especially with the wind. So it'll be something.
Here, so Mike and Kyle, pop quiz. How many rounds of golf did Ari get in July?
In July? I mean, I have 10 on the year, so I'm going to assume 26.
Kyle?
Oh, Kyle put himself on mute, and
Kyle,
man.
you're on mute. Get out.
Oh, have you been on a podcast before?
Amateur hour.
Farting.
I'm gonna go 21. I'll have my 10th round of the year on Friday, Mike. So hey.
You're both high. It's only 16 and a half that he has registered.
What do you do all day?
Well, so a couple things. Three rounds got rained out on a golf trip in Alabama, and so that was kind of a bummer because we were still down there. Played in 2 charity scrambles on different like Mondays, and so I mean, what do you want from me?
It's pretty close.
So we're at about you should have been at 21, 22. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So
but only 2 in August. What's going on?
Well, so our course is closed for 2 weeks, right? So this week of tournament week plus last week, and I was actually today I played one of the reciprocal courses, which is another private club in the area that sort of gives us some limited access during these couple weeks. But because the course is closed, it's just kind of a different cadence, if you will. But next week, so I've got all these rounds in Bandon, right? So that'll be 6 postable rounds. And then the next week, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So.
Can I ask you one more? I want to ask you one more question on the Bandon golf trip. This goes for all golf trips. So it sounds like you've planned these, you've thought through it, you put a lot of work into it. What kind of game are you playing for the week? Is this a lot of money on the line? It's a little scratch. Like, what are the stakes going to be like?
Yeah, so we're gonna have a few different things going on. So we're gonna have an aggregate net total score game where people take 4 of their best 6 net rounds. Actually, a lot of emails today around my net triple max on a hole rule because 3 of the people clearly don't understand how the handicap system even works. But my point is like, it's a fun trip. I'm not grinding out 12s or watching this 22 handicap on the trip grind out like a 15. Like, our index ranges are 2 to 19. So like, well, you got to stop at some point, right? You know what I mean? And so it's meant to be a fun trip. We're the pace setter groups each morning. Like the last thing I need to be is behind my own group watching them, shoot a 20 on a hole. So, a lot of traffic there. But I think that'll be either 100 or 200 buy-in each. Third will get their money back. And then first and second will probably split like 70-30. But the more fun gets like into the one-on-one matches and like the within group things that we'll do with each round. So that's just to keep it fun across the whole thing. But like, I've got a pairing schedule basically. So everyone plays with everyone either 2 or 3 times. And so, we'll get some, sixes going where you change partners every 6 holes. We'll get, my buddy Josh, Jordan's met him. We'll play some meaningful money matches when we're in groups together. And so there'll be a lot of side games or maybe additional games on top of the stroke game. But my only thing with that is it's Bandon. We're playing each course once. Sheep Ranch will play twice. We will always play our own ball. So we won't play an alt shot. Yeah. We won't play a scramble. We will always have games that play your own ball, just because on a trip like that, I really think like that is how you get the experience. And then you can go home and talk about how you played at Pacific Dunes or Sheep Ranch or whatever it is. So that's my only sort of stickler thing as the planner is we all play our own ball each time.
I'm glad to hear 22s are allowed on your golf trips. That's music to my ears.
Well, you might not be making the cut, Kyle. And also, Kyle, when's the last time you got a 15 or a 20 on a hole?
Never.
I know. Because you pick up. Because who wants to watch that?
No, I don't even know if I picked up. I mean, I'm legit here. I've gotten a 9 recently. But.
So Ari, is the worst handicap in the group the partner at my member guest?
Yeah.
Which is good for a 4-ball net round teammate. Pacific Dunes will be a little hard.
Well, I know that it's in the future. It's in the future for Reading the Green at some point to get a trip like this or get in on a trip like this. Next year, I think we have U.S. Open earmarked at Pinehurst, so there probably won't be a ton of golf going on there, but that will be an experience. Kyle, did you have one more point? Otherwise, we can move on.
Well, just to bring it full circle back to the greens. I mean, the outstanding question is who we're going to bring in as a co-architect. I mean, because we're clearly still going to be on the name of designing the course.
Kaiser, Brewer, and Crenshaw.
He's played so many places. Do you have a favorite architect?
Oh, tough call. I got to really think about that. Like, I think they all have kind of their redeeming qualities, right? And, some of them, it's pretty, but like a little easier, right? And then, King Collins, Landman, Sweetens. I was at a Landman last month. I guess end of June, so I guess 6 weeks ago. Great course, very pretty, but like really wide open. Like that friend Josh I was telling you about at Southwind, he's gonna pump 3 balls out of bounds in a row. At Landman, he was making eagle on all those holes. You know what I mean? So it was just a different vibe. So if you want something like that, where people are gonna have a good time and shoot their best score ever, you want someone like King Collins, wide open, bomb it around. But really, really depends. I'll be your design critique consultant though. I won't do the drafting, but I'll be able to. I'm good at looking at a hole and being like, "This is stupid." But other than that, I'm a little bit.
Well, so change. What's your favorite course you've ever played, Ari?
Pine Valley.
Pine Valley. Yeah. I mean, I guess if that's that was
What's
easy.
your second best actual course that the rest of us could play?
Just to be clear, I will never be able to play there again, I don't think. But it was quite nice. My second favorite ever is probably Old Head in Ireland.
Cool. Yeah.
It's great. I went there when I'm still not good at golf, but I was definitely less good at golf, and I kind of didn't appreciate golf as much when I went there. And I think I need to go back and get one more cut at it. But that was probably the first like visually overwhelmingly amazing place I ever was, and that's up there for me. So if you guys are over there, do it. Just one more thing on the Bandon thing. You guys are talking about a trip for next year. You're booking in 2025 now.
Oh yeah.
It's brutal. Yeah. So this I assume we're going to go into the FedEx here. This trip I planned 2 years ago and had to guess based on my estimation of the schedule to try to get it when our course was closed. That was the original objective.
Yeah,
And
they've been moving it around.
Right. And so the perfect weekend would have been last weekend, right? Because the course is still closed, but then I could have come home and gone to the FedEx if I really wanted to go for a day. But I think 2 years out with no information, I did okay to at least get it when the course is closed. And I'm not heartbroken about missing the event just because I usually go for one day only. But anyway, so 2 years out, it's brutal. I had 2024 booked last October. So it's quite
That's
impressive. I'm in, Ari, I've already told you I'm in if anyone backs out of your group. I know I bailed this year. I'm in next year.
Hey guys, I want to give you guys credit for even getting Jordan to commit to coming on this on a weekly basis, because his lack of ability to commit to anything golf related is astonishing. So I give you guys a lot of credit.
He's got 3.5 reasons at home that's challenging. So, all right, well let's talk. I want to do a drink roundup really quick, and then we'll talk real pro golf for a few minutes. I have King of the Thing from Drekker. I know we don't do Drekker beers. I think, Jordan, you said that a couple weeks ago. We don't do Drekker beers very often, but this is actually really good. It's Citra Mosaic double, really good.
Nice.
Kyle?
Foggy Geezer, War Pigs. That's comes in 12
Foggy Geezer is good, but I've literally never purchased it as a can.
Yeah, it's kind of like a standby now and taps. Yeah,
it was left here, so
I don't buy it either.
Nice. I've got Hooey, a classic hazy here in town. Had a few Coors Lights out on the course tonight, so I needed something light.
That's usually you come home and drink the 10% beers. Jordan, did you go buy the 12% quadruple IPA that I texted you?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not. I'm over quads. The only quads I ever see are Kyle's golf scores.
No. There you go.
Ari, you went the opposite direction.
Yeah, and for the record, I didn't even know we did this, so I feel even better about my choice. So I've got a Bota mini Chardonnay, which is a nice 500 milliliter chilled thing of wine, and I got my dishwasher running because I'm leaving early in the morning, so I didn't want to sully any more dishes. So I thought it was the right play, and honestly, it's quite tasty. So
right out of the box.
Recommend. This thing is $3 too. It's great.
You're cheap date, Ari.
All right, the Wyndham Championship. We'll recap it really quick. I actually didn't get a ton of this on Sunday. I think I watched a little bit early in the day, and we were out and about. But I was trying to follow along for the Russell Henley implosion. And did either of you guys see this? I was thinking there must have been tears on 18, both from Russell and Glover. Happiness, and then Russell just being Russell. It was just, what did he do, Kyle?
He caught some bad breaks. He ended up in 2 different divots, and one wasn't not just a normal divot.
It was
it was a divot of 4 divots that had became a monster divot. So he caught some bad breaks, and Glover caught a good one. He yanked his drive left on 18 and hit a cop golf cart for some reason that was sitting there and got a nice kick off it. Weather came at a bad time for Russell. Really, that's what it came down to. It just did not go his way.
I'm not a Glover fan.
Wait,
go ahead.
I disagree. I'm sorry. I know I'm a guest speaker here, but I don't agree. So a couple things going back to your golf course design comment, that spot on that par 3 where all those balls were rolling off. I don't know if you remember when JT hit it short and it rolled over there, having to hop out of that divot. That is a design flaw. They need a drain there, which one will funnel the water, but 2, they'll get a drop to an area that isn't destroyed. Yeah. And so that to me, it's a design flaw. And look, we'll talk about Southwind and the bunkers and all that, but you know what? You get plugged in the bunker, don't hit it in the bunker. He has to know that miss cannot happen. I feel bad for him because he definitely was in that divot was ball high. Yeah. So it was tough, but you have to know that's a huge risk and overcompensate for that when you're in that position. So I do think it's a course design flaw. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It felt more of a mistake than a bad break to me. Sure, it was a bad break on top, but you can't miss there.
I think he hit that shot out of the rough, didn't he? No, it was out of the fairway. He came up. I mean, he was 30, 40 feet short of the pin.
There were 2. There was the one on the par 3.
The par 3
hit short and went into the crater, which I do believe is a design flaw of that course. That's an
unacceptable. Everyone rolled back to that same spot.
Yeah. And that's fine if you have a drain there, but that's not fine to not have a drain there. So
Well, I'm not much of a Lucas Glover fan, never wasn't really pulling for him this week, but like when his family comes running out and the kids are crying and he's crying and you realize like where he's at in his career and how much it's meant to him to get to play for a few more bucks, especially getting into potentially next year and everything that would bring. I felt pretty good for him. It was
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. I actually don't really care about Russell Henley going down the tank. I didn't really bet on either of them. So my week was already shot at that point. And but yeah, just was just a train wreck of an ending.
Boring.
My only frustration is I was on Glover the week before. And then
Yeah,
got
well,
off.
we talk about
A
that a
week
little bit. You
early.
talk about being a week early. Glover was near the top of our model at the 3M, and then we get him coming here. So clearly, like the love was heading in the right direction. And even it's interesting. You read guys will say, "I played practice rounds with Lucas. I've been playing with him the last few weeks. I saw this coming. How good he was playing." So I guess again, good for him. He was 38th ranked in our model. So I wasn't there this week, but that's what happens. He was also the gutsiest play. Rick Gaiman was the only contributor that had Lucas Glover, which is interesting. After I guess he did miss cut at the 3M, so that takes a lot of the attention off of him. Our top contributor of the week, top expert, Pat Mayo, back on top. He had Adam Svensson, who had a nice week. Would have been a nice plug into any lineup. And then Kyle, the landmines, like the top of the model has been getting crushed lately on missed cuts. We had Smalley, McCarthy, Decky, Hadwin. What do you do when you have a 70% owned Denny McCarthy missing the cut on the number?
At least he's 70% owned.
That's how I felt about it.
You're going down with the ship. There was some good there. Henley had a lot of love. Cole did. Brendan Todd as well. But yeah, and another what's about the third week in a row. It's just hopefully something turns around here, right?
Yeah, well, well now we get into this like the nuttiness of no cut events, so our ability to set a high floor becomes a little bit tougher, but we'll see. I would say adjust your bets accordingly now that we're going into 3 straight no cut events. The last thing we'll talk about here is the one and done update. Jordan, if you got that up, for the first time this year, I think didn't submit an entry.
And you
but
still
I'm in last place though.
So yeah, you didn't hurt yourself, Mike, for how you normally play. We actually had a lot of Russell Henley this week, 4 guys. Kyle, you almost got a first place.
Hey, I am still alive, by the way. I'll let you do the down the board, and then I got.
Sure you are.
I'm ready to. I got my math to back this up.
Sure you are. But yeah, I mean, second place only got 670K, so it's not a game changer. Champles extends his lead at the top. He's got 400K because Derek Howard, who's in second place, had Denny McCarthy missed the cut, didn't get any money. And then there's one more. Jacob King is at 1.6 million behind. After that, you're really hoping for a miracle. Let me see. Let me scroll down. Oh, there's Mike, dead last, 32nd, with 4.7 million. He would literally be $4 million higher if he just picked the highest ranked golfer in every tournament.
Yeah,
you are actively picking bad choices.
I'm trying to be different, you know.
So I'm in 27.
Are you going to get in on our one and done next year? I didn't send it to you this year. I'm sorry.
I'm rarely invited to the fun, so I look forward to the opportunity. Yeah.
So I'm in 27th. I am 12 million back. But the money line is in 5th. I'm only 7 million back. We have a $3.5 million purse this week. I believe the same next week. Hey,
yeah,
I can do it.
Kyle, you're gonna need you're gonna need Seamus Power to win this week and pick him. Let's just say that's the kind of luck you need.
But wait, Kyle, you're 12 million back.
I can get
just want to get into the money, not to win.
Just get into 5th.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna make it to the FedEx St Jude Championship.
Hold on, wait.
Here.
Can I make one more comment about the window? As you know.
Yeah, go for it.
The 2 shots that Justin Thomas hit on the last hole.
Yeah.
To try to get into the Memphis event, I think just shows how his implosion is mental. Like those were 2 of the best shots he's maybe ever hit circumstantially, and he tried so hard on them. It just shows like he's still got it. He just doesn't. He's clearly not applying the right mental process. Like to me, that's what that showed. Like think of all the chips that you think you're standing over that you can make, and like you're not really like he knew he had to make it and came as close as possible to making it without making it. And like the shot around the trees, like it was a bad tee shot, but like there's clearly a mental thing going on with him as much as a swing thing.
Well, I was going to ask you guys this question. I totally blanked on this. Lucas Glover's got to be a lock for the Ryder Cup team, right?
Okay.
We debated this with JT last week, as everyone did. I think we could probably, I think we kind of put to bed that like I think he's done enough. He's going to be on the team. That kind of stuff is, Zach Johnson's going to over-index on that kind of stuff so much, and it's not going to help the Americans win, but he's going to be on the team.
I agree with your take overall, though, Ari. I mean, to see him, to know he needed it that much and step up and do it, it shows that it's there.
He should be in that position to begin with.
I know, but what's the disconnect? Like, why?
But that's the point, right, Michael? Yeah. Like that's the point. Is like he clearly has it, and when he applies himself, he can do it. But that is the point. Like he shouldn't have been in the position, but he clearly has the push when he needs to push.
Well, I think he'll be on the team. I think that's exactly what the Americans do, and it'll be great to watch because it'll be way more fun to watch than, we'll talk about it next week, but literally anyone else that can be on the team.
Speaking of, Ari, did you get to play the course in Italy? I know that was your goal, but you didn't get to, right?
No, so I was over there and I was gonna play. So that was the point. That wasn't the point of the trip, but when I was over there, I was gonna play, and it was closed for the Italian Open. Which, by the way, to have another event the same year at the same course as the Ryder Cup, just like 5 months earlier, to me was like mind blowing. Like I would have never thought they're having a professional DP World Tour Italian Open at that course 5 months before the Ryder Cup, but it was closed for that. I was so bummed out.
Did the U.S. not do that? Did they? Oh, that's why they didn't go to Quail Hollow for the Wells Fargo last year. That's right. I think that's why they went to whatever that other course was, Avon Farms, something like that. Because the Quail Hollow is going to have the Ryder Cup. Or President's Cup, I should say. Okay. All right. FedEx St Jude Championship. Ari, real quick, Memphis. You've been there, what, you say 6 years? You like it? What's the vibe?
Yeah, I'm almost at 7. So December will be 7. So what's the vibe? I got a lot of things to say about the vibe. What level you want me to go to? So
I don't know.
I'll be honest.
Whatever's politically correct.
Let's start with the vibe of the MILFs at the pool and then work our way to golf.
No, we're not going to get there. But no, look, I thought I moved here from Chicago. That's actually where I met Jordan. But I thought I'd be like 2 years in and out type of thing. But it's good here. Like it's like you have a good life here. It's warm, so I can play golf 12 months a year. But also like golf aside, it's like not as miserable as, no offense, where you guys live. It's extremely cheap. Like you can do anything at any level of niceness, and it's just like one of the most inexpensive places you'll ever live. No state income tax, another bonus, but that's separate. I play at Southwind, which is a great golf course. So like I don't need much. I've got that. I've got like a bunch of like different levels of bars and restaurants that are enjoyable. Certainly, like there are some weird things about living here in the South compared to, what I'm used to in like a more, progressive city like Chicago.
I was looking forward to what word you were going to use there.
Yeah, and some of that stuff is weird to me, to be honest with you. Like, if my close friends, I've kind of like found the people that are kind of more, my type of people. But, some people I'll be playing golf with and they'll just like tell these stories, not realizing how like backwards they are. Like there's still a lot of like racism. There are like class issues. It's a very like bizarre thing. And, I try to do my part to like call them out on it, but it's so that part is a little weird and different for me. Don't love it on that side of things, but I have a good life here for the most part, and I try to, do my part to sort of be a better member of society, but it's good.
Well, it's great that you get a PGA Tour event, especially one that is the first round of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Last year, you would have seen Will Zalatoris get his first PGA Tour win at TPC Southwind. And so why don't you just take us through a little bit, when you play a bajillion rounds there, kind of what do you think, what does it take to get it done for like the members? Kind of how's the course play, and then how's it going to be different for the professionals?
Yeah, so I actually don't think it's that different, if I'm being honest with you. I think the big difference is straight off the tee. That's really it. And I think we talked about that a little last year. It's not that big of a golf course. You know, like I play back at the tip sometimes just like for fun. It's around 72, 73, depending on exactly how it's set up. But it's, if you're out of position off the tee or offline, you're always like in trees, in long rough, having to like have a weird angle over water. You know, it's just, there's some heather out there too, but it's really about like, can you stay in play consistently? I don't mean in play like for a pro, like not in a hazard. I'm talking like in the bounds of the first cut. And that's the difference. And, you know, Zalatoris got a couple good breaks last year where he like kind of on 18, like drove it like kind of almost into the houses. Like, and there are ways to punch out and get away with it. Don't get me wrong. But like, if you're kind of betting on kind of a top 10 vibe, it's who are those people that you can feel consistently are going to be in play versus bombing it all over the place. Because the bombing it all over the place, it's not always the winning strategy. I can just tell you, like, as I play my matches, I'm a 5 handicap. I'm not the longest hitter, but I destroy my long hitting friends because they are hitting it all over the place, and you just are in trouble if you can't keep it in the width of the fairway.
Kyle, what do you think about that as our resident course strategy expert here? Is this an off the tee course? Is this an approach course? What do you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you look at historically who's done well here, and statistically how they've gotten to a victory. Ari's perfectly right. You got to stay out of trouble. 76 bunkers, 11 water hazards. There's a lot of places to get sideways. So you want to avoid double bogeys, obviously, but you still need to give yourself opportunity gained as well. Because I think the winning score the last couple of years has been 15-16. So you got to put yourself in good position to birdie and obviously miss the trouble. Most of the approaches come from 150 to 200, and that kind of surprised me. We were big on Will last year, and I wanted to say the reason we went there was because of the longer irons, but looking back at where most of the approaches came from last year, it's that 150 to 200 mark.
With that being said, what do you got for the model this week? You got accurate off the tee players in the model. You got bombers. You got what do we got?
I would say you get an accuracy vibe. So far, we have just a logjam of guys. We have 7 individuals at 33% mention share. Those bust through them. We got everywhere from $12,100 down to $6,400. Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, Tyrrell Hatton, Tommy Fleetwood, Sepp Straka, who Willie Z beat in the playoff last year, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then JTP, who's been on fire lately, and then Andrew Putnam, who we were on a little bit last week and had a decent week as well. So you got a little bit of everything from a salary perspective, but you got Rahm and Scotty, who gained strokes off the tee, and obviously just immaculate tee to green. Hatton, who's been great, and then just overall guys that have been playing really well going into this event.
Where do you start?
I think I'm going to avoid the top of the board this week for the most part.
Controversial.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have one lineup where I'm going to pick between Scotty and Rahm. I don't know where I'm going to go yet. But Hatton at 9,700, he's just been playing great golf all around. I don't think we can get away from him, and there's nothing with the course setup that scares me there. Mayo's on him, Rick Gaiman's on him. We said last week, Gaiman had a good week last week picking as well. I do like Sam Burns here. He's won twice in the past as well, different type of tournaments back then, but he's only 8,100. He's getting 26% mention share. Jeff Ulrich is there. And then if healthy, I'm going down board a little bit here, but if healthy, I hope we get a little bit of a soundbite on how his ankle is doing. But Tom Kim, only 7,800, 13% mention share. So that's my down the board play of the week. Good. Again, he's been on solid form. It's just he had tweaked his ankle a little bit last event, but still hung in there and finished strong.
I would love to see you run the math on strokes gained off the tee times fairway accuracy and take the top 5 to top 20. I mean, because the stroke gains off the tee does like historical, like if you're in the fairway and the rough, the scoring average from that far in. But I think there is a premium on being in the fairway. And if you somehow could weight that, I would love to see how that sort of shakes out. But, you know, and the Sepp Straka thing, like if you think about last year, Zalatoris disposed of Scheffler, Rahm, like everybody. And who is he left with? Sepp freaking Straka, who, by the way, I like. But like, it's so hard to win. It's incredible, really.
Yeah, so I think the one thing as I was kind of digging in here, model says right now power index in the RTG model says Jon Rahm over Scottie Scheffler. Jon Rahm obviously has a stat profile that fits this, right? He's awesome off the tee, he's awesome on approach, a little shaky around the green, a little shaky on the greens, but those are things that you get away with at this golf course. 3 out of the last 4 rounds has really struggled with accuracy off the tee. And so the question is, do you believe in, you know, and I'll even say he was about even on accuracy at the Open Championship, which I guess Liverpool played a little tighter than some of the other Open courses, but I don't know. It seems like Rahm's kind of been hitting it all over the place lately, and that's not the recipe for success at Southwind. So Kyle, I'm kind of there with you that like, if I'm not going Rahm, I'm probably not going Scottie at 12-1. I like the $1,000 discount on Rahm. But if I'm not going with either, then you might as well start in the 9Ks and start with Hatton or someone like that. I do like Sepp Straka. He's been playing well. He's got good form. 3M is, you know, we'll throw that out as he's coming back from overseas after a couple of good tournaments in a row. And he has been hitting the ball pretty well. I think a stat profile that fits here. The other guy I just threw out the question is Andrew Putnam, $6,400 chalk this week. I
was very surprised to see him there. I was trying to get back to it. So he hasn't missed a cut since the PGA. He had T5 at the Memorial, 27th last week, 55th at the Open Championship. Has been gaining up on approach, losing off the tee.
But I'm guessing, but he's a shorter than average hitter and more accurate than average hitter. So I'm guessing that the strokes he's losing off the tee are probably more due to distance than accuracy, and I don't know that you need a ton of distance at those. I mean, I guess there are long par 4s, but
yeah, and the reason I'm intrigued, looking at, so he did lose accuracy at Genesis and Open Championship, but obviously a different type of course setup there than anywhere else the tour plays, and he has been like at the PGA Championship, for example, he was plus 26% off accuracy. So I'm intrigued. I don't think I'm gonna stay away.
Don't you feel whenever like a really cheap guy is at the top of the model, they always bust out? Like not in a good way, like not like woo, busting out.
Well, and I think that's a part of the reason Mike's ask here. And I think a lot of the times though, some of the guys that get steamed up are just guys that are hot, right? They've been playing well.
Yeah.
I think overall though, to go like, you know, holistically with this conversation, Putnam is a great fit. So he's been playing well and he's a good course fit here. So that's why I'm a little bit more intrigued.
It's different than you get. I'm trying to think who got steamed up like at 3M. I mean, honestly, someone like Eric Cole, who, here we go again. Eric Cole just can't get any respect in DraftKings pricing. He's $6,900 this week after just continuing to crush top 30s. But I again would go to someone like Eric Cole, and playing great. Not a good course fit here. The guy, like, he consistently loses off the tee and loses on accuracy. So he makes up for it on approach. And so it's going to be, I was more trusting of him at someone like Wyndham or 3M where there's a little more space, less trusting here.
And just one thing, fake pro tip here. We've gone through this 3-year fairway renovation, and we've done kind of like 3 or 4 holes a year. The new fairways, when we just did our last 4 this year. And so you'll see like 16th hole, some of the spots are not like fully grown in when you're watching it on TV. So like certain spots may not look great, but the ball will bounce and roll so much farther on these new fairways. Like it's not even close. And so when you look at even like 2-3 years ago, who was winning, they were accurate and long. And I know it sounds insane when you're talking about a tour pro, but when you're talking about on the margins with their distance, like it's kind of normalized that, right? Like even for the members, right? Like it's normalized it for me. Like, you know, some people on certain clubs will go through. Now a pro is good enough to adjust for that, but all of a sudden you're taking away part of that long hitter's advantage if the straight hitter can still take advantage of kind of the new architecture of it. So it's even evolved over the last 3 years where, again, I'm not saying like a super short hitter is favored, but if you're thinking about their actual kind of like stroke gains compared to how they would do like 3 years ago, I do think there's a pretty meaningful difference on the golf course rebuild.
That's a good point.
Well, so do you have a couple of guys in mind, Ari, that you think are a good fit here? I think we talked about Will last year. I feel like you were all over that.
We did know. So my thing last year was I was like, look, I love Sahith and how he's playing. And do I think he's going to win? No. But like, I also said, I always love picking Willie Z. It's just, I never feel good that he's actually going to win. And, you know, the first day Sahith came out firing. And then I think I went there on Friday and I like started watching him on the back nine and he went like bogey, double, bogey or something like that. And I was like, all right, I'm like the cooler. I got to walk away here. But I didn't in the end pick Willie Z, but you know, I don't know. Like I said, if I were like really going to bet on this, I would like run that quick math on the shots gained plus the fairway accuracy. And I would take the top 5 and say, I'm going to bet on them in top 10 or top 15. And I know one's going to hit because, you know, like Jordan was saying, I agree. This one low, you know, low ranked or high odds person that's like shifting to the top, they always suck. But if you know, take them in aggregate and you need 1 or 2 to hit, you're cooking there a little bit.
Fair enough.
So, and I love Hovland, just for the record. I think, unfortunately, the way the course is, his always one bad hole will be one extremely bad hole. So I think that works against him a little bit here. But in general, I love him. But I think, you know, he's always good for like a triple on Sunday, which could be like 3 triples if he really lets it get away from him. So
a lot of folks love Tommy Fleetwood this week. Would you be okay with Tommy Fleetwood getting his first PGA Tour win at your hometown event?
Sure. I mean, I would love to eat the Tommy Fleetwood burger. They like rename the burger every year and I can never keep track of what I'm ordering. But yeah, like I like Tommy. With 70 players, it's anyone's game, right? Like that's a big difference this year. Like no past 70 players, like who knows? Like anyone could do it if they're just playing right. Because it's not hard if you're playing well, but it's very hard if you're not playing well.
But do you know who's actually going to do it?
I mean, I didn't qualify, otherwise I would have picked me. So
I love it. I'm you know, he's not in our model at all, which is a little scary. Brian Harmon.
Sure. Brian Harmon might take the next 6 months off.
Sure. Here's my take on that, Jordan. Here's my take on that. His wobbles at the British Open, which were overcomable, will not be overcomable if he does that again. So
he was a top 5 here last year.
I'm not anti Brian Harmon. I'm saying if under pressure he were to hit the same shots that he hit in the Open at Southwind, he will not win. That's all I'm saying. Like it's not as recoverable from hitting that many bad shots in a row early in a round. That's my only point.
Yeah, that's.
I
catch what you're throwing.
I'll go back to you, kind of final takes on plays here, and then kind of take us through the tiers and all that.
I actually had another question I want to follow up with. Is there a certain wind direction that you think the course plays harder? If you see, Ari.
Ooh, well, it's called Southwind for a reason. But harder. No, so actually, it's funny when Jordan was like, "Oh, are you coming on Tuesday?" I was like, "Well, I have to have a moment to lament about the weather." So thank you, Kyle, for like this unsolicited setup. But now you've opened a can of worms, and you're gonna have to hear about it. So I don't think a given direction makes it that much harder. Like the long par 4s are kind of blended direction, where it's not like you're killed on all of them, but it needs wind. You know, you talked about the low scores, and here's what happens every single year since it's become a little more elevated. Like when it was still the week before the US Open, like 5 years ago, this didn't really happen. But ever since it was then a WGC and then a playoff, this is what happens. It's 100 degrees every single day for the members with a heat index of 115. And then magically the week of the tournament, it's perfect weather. And there's no wind. It'll rain Tuesday and Wednesday, so the course will play soft. And then all of a sudden, it's a totally different golf course. And I was actually lamenting to Larry and Will, our GM and head pro. I was like, I want to see these guys face 120 heat index with 15 to 20 mile an hour wind, plus it be dry. But every year, this is what happens. And guess what? It's going to be in the 80s all weekend. It rained today and it's going to rain tomorrow to soften it up. And it's not the same. Like that course can be so hard if it's firm and if there's wind. And every year they have the same issue, and it's perfect weather every single time.
I think, well, I don't know. We're a little early, but you could get some wind Thursday, but beyond that, it looks pretty tame. Yeah.
That's bullshit.
A lot of
Like,
storms.
that's not
A lot of storms.
But the storms are like, oh, it'll be like 15 minutes and annoying. Like, I want a day where it's like wind or heat like that, where it's firm. But they have this magic weather machine where every single time they come to Memphis, because I have to wear pants, they have it perfect. Like, I went out today, I played a course this afternoon and it rained all morning. And I was like, it's a perfect day. I could be out there for 12 hours and never feel it. But it's 120 heat index. You feel differently. So I'm pretty disappointed. Like, that's what I really want to see. And every year we haven't gotten to see that. It makes the scores like 1,500 to win.
Well, I'm glad we didn't talk about that, but we got that set up for you.
Good stuff. I
hate it. Go ahead. Sorry.
No. This is like, I wish we had, guys, we got to get a member at like every PGA Tour stop, because this is like, I feel invincible on the betting card this week. Kyle, can we do tiers really quick? And I want to get to name game, because you really pumped it up earlier this afternoon. And so I'm excited to see what you got in store.
I think tier 3 is really interesting this week. We've talked about a lot of guys in some of the other tiers, like tier 5 and tier 4. But tier 3, you have Tommy Fleetwood, you have Colin, you have Ricky, you have Jason Day, you have Finau. Finau's winning the MPI battle so far, but the model likes Tommy Fleetwood from a share perspectives. I like Fleetwood more in cash games. I'm not gonna stay away from Morikawa this week and tournament style contests, but from a cash game standpoint, I think Tommy Ladd is where you go there. Just, he's shown so much more consistency. I think the course is a pretty solid setup for him. I don't see a reason to stay away.
Not a tiers comment, but the $9,100 and $9,000 price points on Fleetwood and Morikawa seem really solid. I think you have a bunch of upside there playing those guys in low 9,000. So tiers or in your classic lineups, I think there's something there. All right. Name game. Jordan, you've held a lead in the name game for like the better part of 9 months. In fact, you might have just held a lead like since we started keeping track of this at the beginning of the season. And you still have a lead. You have a 2-point lead over both Kyle and I.
With what?
Which means
Three tournaments
to go.
Okay.
And so magic has to happen. But the fact that it's even this close is just shocking. And so, Kyle, you've gone on a little bit of a run. You've closed the gap. We've left the listeners in the dust, which is good, because, there was going to be some sort of punishment for finishing below the listeners. But Kyle, having won last week, you get the privilege of designing the game for this week and then picking last. So why don't you go ahead? I guess maybe we should just really quick. Last week you had the Adam, Michael, Sam teams, and so Kyle, you won going away, 251 points on your team of 3. Jordan, you and I were Jordan, you and the listeners were pretty close, 190 and 178 points. Then I was bringing up the rear. So I'll get to pick first, followed by Jordan. Then Ari will be picking for the listeners third, and Kyle, you'll get left with the garbage. What do you got?
So we talked about Memphis and the vibe a little bit. Ari, go ahead.
He's on mute. Second mute violation. I've heard there's like a tip jar now for mute violations at work. Yes. So it's $5 in the jar every time you talk when you're on mute.
Can I just have someone explain what this game is?
You'll find out. Someone puts together a bit each week, kind of like a narrative lineup. Here's a number of players that fit a theme. We'll basically just tally their points at the end of the week, points DraftKings style. And then we keep track week to week on how many wins the three of us gets, and then the fourth team always goes to the listeners. There is a prize which we have 3 weeks to figure out for the season-long winner of the name game.
So yeah, you'll just pick.
It's
one
gonna
of the
be me,
sports
Ari. I'm gonna win
Hey,
it.
I was about to create my own category, which I thought was going to be a good one because it's like both self-absorbed about me, but also I think maybe a winner. But that's all right. I'll pick out of yours.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's hear what this is, and then we'll get to the real one.
I was going to say I want all players where their first name starts with A or their last name starts with H, because those are my initials.
This would be a name game theme that could show up in any given week.
Yeah.
Kyle, I want you to run that one after, and I'm going to hear next Tuesday how that would have done.
All right. Yeah, we'll do an official. If you win, we'll do that next week. We'll commit to that. So we talked about the vibe a little bit of Memphis. I think Memphis is somewhat known for food as well, barbecue, right? So we each have 4 teams of 2 here. That are players' names that correspond to local restaurants, one of them being a barbecue-themed restaurant. So team 1 is Buckley's Grill. That's 4.6 stars on Google, just in case you're wondering it. It's called an unpretentious steakhouse, according to the little blurb.
Ari's never been there. He's judging you.
Well, I mean, I haven't either. These not like they're my favorite place.
It's just like way out there.
Yeah. So obviously that's Hayden Buckley. He's $6,100 this week.
Hold on, time out. Hayden Buckley is in the field this week?
Yes.
How?
And he hasn't played in 4 weeks. It's kind of crazy. But yes, he's in the field. He is teamed with Patrick Cantlay because, of course, if Patrick Cantlay owned a restaurant, he would name it Patrick's.
All right.
Patrick, hey, great patio, and they give you those plastic cups you can take home with you. I've got like 10 of them in my cabinet. So.
All right.
And yet you were worried about your dishes while you were out of town.
I don't understand how their dishwasher's safe. I reuse them, so.
I was hoping some of these would hit somewhere. So by the way, Patrick's is described
Jordan,
as a kid.
Reduce, reuse, recycle. I don't know what your life is, but we're trying to do it.
Kyle, is this written down somewhere, or should I be writing it down?
No, just after I say it, I'll tell you where it's hidden. But
okay, jeez.
Patrick's is tagged as a kitschy hangout with barbecue and home cooking.
Ooh.
Anyway, so that's team 1: Hayden Buckley, Patrick Cantlay. Team 2, Sam Burns. He opened up Sam's Main Street Eatery in Memphis. It's a diner. Ari, have you been?
No. Right. Is that a true story that it's actually his, or you were just saying it's because it's called Sam's?
No, that's it.
Oh,
So, and then JT Poston, he has a laid back barbecue chain called Jim and Nick's Barbecue. Fun fact: his first name is actually James.
Jim and Nick's not a Memphis thing, though. It just happens to have a spot in Memphis.
Oh, Kyle.
In Memphis. Anyway,
wait, by the way, wait. Sorry, am I about to pick last? Because then I shouldn't be sharing all these tidbits because I'm going to know who I'm going to want.
You'll pick third.
Okay.
So that team is 15-4. Team 4,
Team 3
is Tommy Fleetwood, Tommy's Burger California style. So Ari, you mentioned Tommy's Burgers. Was this the place you're talking about?
No. The club on the menu will put the burger as like the champion's name burger. Like when it was at WC, it was like the Abraham Answer Burger. I know we're not allowed to speak his name up because he's on live, but like the Abraham Answer Burger, or like the, it was actually at one year the Daniel Burger. That was a little interesting, but
he's won twice here, I think.
Yeah, so we got that going for us, but no, not Tommy's Burger.
Well, so Tommy's Burger California style is apparently a place you can eat in Memphis. Also, there is Tom's Barbecue. So you got and Tom's Barbecue is cooked with love, according to Google. So that's Team Tom, Tom Hoagie and Tommy Fleetwood, 15-4. And then the last team, you got Ben Yaz, some Creole, if you want to go to New Orleans a little bit. You have Ben Griffin at $6,100. And the last barbecue spot is Ball Hoggers Barbecue. Who, I mean, if there's anyone on the PGA Tour that's going to open Ball Hoggers Barbecue, clearly that's Ricky Fowler. 9,500. So 15-6 is the team combo there. Mike, if you scroll down to like line 90 on the name game.
There we go. Found it. Nice.
I hit it. I hit it down below.
I was like trying to unhide sheets in here and gotcha. All right. Well, I get to pick first. Boy, man, you didn't really boy. I think I actually I've seen a lot of nice comments about Patrick Cantlay this week, thinking he's a good fit. But I'm gonna go with the Tommy's Burger California Style and Tom's BBQ Fleetwood and Hooey.
All right, can we get in comment on Tom's BBQ? Is it actually good?
I don't know.
Yeah. What about Ball Hoggers? Have you been to Ball Hoggers?
No.
Oh, Ari, we're really disappointed.
I mean, look, I'm not the one who Googled the wrong spots. I mean, I can't be held responsible.
This was not meant to be a good list.
I know. I'm sure you guys all frequent the restaurants that are in the landing path of the airport. I know that's exactly where you go in Minneapolis. So.
You know, it's hard to find matching names to restaurants with people.
I mean, it's especially if you're not trying hard enough. Yeah, I get it.
Oh,
yeah.
Ari doesn't pull any punches. He just pulls his irons.
Yeah. Jordan,
you're next.
Hey, by the way, Jordan refuses to come visit because he knows he's in for a beatdown when he comes down here.
I asked you when I could come this fall, and you didn't respond. You said, "Oh, you don't ever want to come down here."
By the way, you know that course Jordan shot 70 at? You could hit that ball freaking anywhere. I want to see. I want to see what he shoots at Southwind. 93, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I shot an 86 on the same course the day before, just playing the opposite direction. So,
Yeah.
Which, okay, timeout. I'm sorry, Jordan. Your pick is next. Kyle and I talked about this on a show a couple weeks ago that we did solo. We're talking about this is the loop at Forest Dunes. Is that right?
Yeah.
The course in both directions is on the top 100 public courses in Golf Digest. Does that that somehow seems odd to me that it's the same property, but it gets to be double counted in the rankings. Does it really play as
you're playing?
I get it's two courses. I don't know. It just seems weird. It's taking 2 spots away. I don't know. It seems odd to me.
All right, I want
to
know what this sounds like, though. This sounds like old traditionalist thinking. Think about it.
That's me.
They have 2 completely different courses in the same footprint. Wouldn't it be great if every location could have that?
Growing up, I played at Fox Hollow Golf Club on the reversible 9. We had 18-hole junior tournaments that were just 2 9-hole shotguns back to back. It was great. People were getting hit with golf balls all the time trying to play over crisscross fairways.
Well, they're not crisscross.
This one's not crisscross. Yeah.
All right, Jordan.
It's actually, I will say, it was a very fun course to play. Kind of, I mean, it's link style, right? You're teeing off. There's not a tee box. You're teeing off from a fairway that you drive up 2 feet away from where you tee off, which was fun. And it was fun. So, I mean, I shot my best round ever as we were trying to race through a round before a thunderstorm came in. I think we put 3 of us played in 3 hours or less than 3 hours.
No, 2:31, and the guy was like, "That's the new record." Even when the pro and we go out, it's 3 hours. I think that was the new record, and we were huffing. But in fairness to Jordan, while he is a sandbagger, on the last hole, because it was literally about to start pouring, we're like, "Jordan, you can pick that up. It's good." He's like, "No, I have to putt this for my best score ever." So that was fair. He did do that.
Wow, I am impressed. I was just going to make a picking up 6-foot gimmies comment, but Jordan, I'm really glad to have corroborated that detail. Can you go ahead and pick your team in the name game? You have Hayden Buckley, Patrick Cantlay, Sam Burns, JT Poston, or Ben Griffin, Ricky Fowler.
I'm going Ricky all day. It's Ricky's year. Ricky's winning the FedEx Cup.
Well, and you just want to eat at Ball Hoggers Barbecue.
I do love.
Is it really spelled with 3 Z's?
I might get a little carried away.
All right. All
But
right,
it is on Airways as per my previous airport comment, which by the way, I didn't even look before I made that comment, but I just knew based on what you were saying, a lot of those places were by the airport. So
I mean, it's literally ball hoggers with a Z.
It's not 3 Z's. Kyle wrote 3 Z's in here.
Oh my God, that's great.
Ari, you get to pick between Buckley's Grill and Patrick's, or Sam's Main Street Eatery and Jim and Nick's BBQ. Buckley, Cantlay, or Burns and Poston. Choose wisely.
I mean, I think I got to go Burns and Poston, both because I think that's a better pairing, but also the worst name connection of the group. Like I'm not clear how JT Poston is Jim and Nick's, but I'm going to go with that one.
Because his first name is James.
I understand, but like, I don't really understand.
Jim Furyk isn't playing anymore, so.
By the way, hey, just for the record, there is a place called Jim's Place and Jim's Place East that you could have also found for like Jim. So, you know.
It needed to be a barbecue one, though. There's a barbecue.
Here we go. Ari, when he wants his AH initials for the game next week, is going to be disappointed when only Adam Hadwin is the only player that we can have in name game.
Well, before we went into this, I didn't realize it was 2 each. I thought it was like a group of like
we
6.
kind of make it up. It's different every week. It's different
every week.
But if it was 6, I wanted the players that first name had A and last name had A, not just AH. But you're right, at 2 I didn't realize. So next,
Kyle, are you okay with Buckley's Grill and Patrick's?
I mean, I like Unpretentious Steakhouse. Sure, I'll give it a shot. And Patrick's got a good review, so I'm in.
If you're picking by restaurants, that's the winner. There's no doubt of those pairs. That's the winner.
Kyle did put the Google star reviews in here, and he picked the combination with the 2 highest reviews, charting out at 9.0. So
I could have told you that without even like looking like that. Those are the 2 best restaurant combos you had there. So good choice.
All right, last bit, dude. I know we've gone long. Last bit, Kyle, are you gonna bet on the Fedex St Jude Championship?
The fun part was I was in Iowa yesterday, so I actually did get to bet. This isn't just hypothetical betting this time. I legit bet.
Kyle, did you use your mom as a conduit like every other idiot that lives in Iowa and plays for Iowa and Iowa State sports teams?
I did not. I was physically with my phone in the state of Iowa yesterday.
Okay, that's good. I'm glad you aren't as dumb as Hawkeyes and Cyclones.
Hey, it's mainly Cyclones. Not that that's much better, and including when you're starting quarterback. But anyway, Xander Schauffele. I went 4 units, going big on Xander. Tried to just to level set a little bit. I try to set the card to win 6 to 7x every week, sometimes as much up as 10. But I got a little overzealous since I was in Iowa this week, so it's set at that 6 to 7 mark. So Xander at 4 units, Colin Morikawa 2.5, Sam Burns at 1.75, and then Keegan Bradley and Corey Connors at a unit each because they were each at 65 to 1. So and then I was pumping gas, text you guys this right before the Iowa border and just messing around. There was a Fleetwood and Sepp Straka top 5 parlay at 70 to 1. I threw in $1.
I can see that.
I threw in $1 on it. Yeah. Why not?
I like that. All right.
Not that I would tell me with how it's been running lately, but I would say I'm due. We did hit Willie Z here last year. For 4 units at 25 to 1, by the way.
Anything else from you guys? Final comments on the show, the FedEx St Jude Championship, guys' golf trips?
We'll give our guests the last word, I believe.
No, just if one of your friends is planning a golf trip, don't harass them for information every single day, months in advance. That would be my only public service.
Or, when someone says, I probably can't make it, and then harass them for months asking, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?
No, but in fairness, Jordan, you can't commit in either direction. I'm always a maybe, playing without me, make a definitive statement. Yeah.
Ari, did we talk about how you called me on my birthday to then ask if I could get in? And then 4 hours later texting me oh, wait, it's your birthday.
Yeah. What a great gift to be invited to Bandon. You're welcome.
Well, Jordan, we're gonna have to figure out how you turn this one down. But the good news is it seems like it happens pretty often. So, hey, Ari, if you need an official podcast, I'd say sponsor, but we don't have any money to actually sponsor you. So if you just need someone to cover your event, we might be good tag-alongs. So we'll think about that over the next 12 months. That's right. We'll be back in a week to recap the Fedex St Jude Championship and preview the BMW Championship. You can find our content Wednesday mornings on any major podcast platform and on YouTube, and of course all week on Twitter at RTG Podcast DFS. See ya.